back to the One With My Friends podcast. I am your host, Assam. That is your other host, Yasser. Yasser, what's up?
What's up, man? They also call me Unk.
Unk. And that is our producer, Adam. Adam, what's up?
What's up? Good to see you, Unk.
What up, baby?
How was y'all's weekend? I had a long one. I've been at work these last few days, so I've been looking forward to this all day.
Weekend's been good. It's been a lot of outdoor activities, and the weather's turning, and I got a little suntan. I don't know. I felt it this morning when I was taking a shower and my head was burning. That's how you know.
Did you? Do you ever have? You don't cover that?
When you say cover that, it's offensive. It's a bald head. It has feelings, but no, I don't cover that. I don't.
Did y'all win the game? Did y'all win the game?
That's not a discussion I want to put on live recording right now.
Actually, I should have known that because you didn't even say anything.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Usually when I don't text you with the result of the soccer game, it's an indicator that it's not good.
Yeah. I should have known. It's been that season. It's all right, though. Can't win them all, especially this season.
Yeah.
Boom.
As Ross said in episode 1 and 2. Anyways,
we have a hilarious episode of Friends to discuss today. We are reviewing season 1, episode 2, the one with the sonogram at the end.
Oof.
It aired on September 29th, 1994, directed by the great James Burrow. Yasser, do you know any other shows that James Burrow directed?
Do I know any other shows that James Burrow directed? Well, he directed the first episode.
There you go.
He tried to hit me with a hard one. Yeah, I got you, dude.
Yeah.
Well, I got one for you. I mean, the writers are David Crane, Marta Kaufman, and Ira Ungelida. I'm assuming it's German. Do you know what Ira is also known for doing?
I did take a glance at your notes. So it's like nine either seasons or 9 episodes of How I Met Your Mother.
She did 9 episodes of How I Met Your Mother, and she produced 28 episodes of Friends.
Wow, 28?
28. It's a big number.
Dang. I wonder if that was later seasons.
It's a good question. Well, we know this was the first one she did.
This is the first one?
She or he? I think Ira's a he. Ira's a he.
Hey, you probably should have looked that up before you started.
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a he.
What do you look like?
White dude, white beard, I think. I don't know.
Yeah. You should have just said German.
Exactly. I should have stuck with my German remark.
In this episode, Ross finds out his ex-wife is pregnant as he clashes with her girlfriend, Susan. Rachel struggles to balance her emotions as she meets with her ex-fiance, the homie Barry. Actually, he's not the homie. And Monica becomes increasingly irritated with her parents. So this episode, to me, I don't know about y'all, but this one felt like a Friends episode. Mm-hmm. This one, I thought it was really funny, and it really got the ball going. I thoroughly enjoyed this one.
Yep. And even last week we discussed Phoebe just feeling like an outsider. This episode, while she was still very limited in her lines, it seemed like she fit in a little bit more.
Yeah.
And this episode, it kicked off right in Central Park again. And ironically, Monica starts us off again. So we've got the whole gang. They're sitting in Central Park. They're chilling. And Monica's there, Joey, Phoebe, Rachel, Chandler, Ross, and they're all diving into a chat. The gang, they get into a debate about whether kissing really matters or means anything in a relationship. Chandler, always ready for a joke, compares kissing to that of an opening act that you have to sit through at a concert. It's nice and all, but that's not why you bought the ticket. And this kicks off some playful back and forth between them. And Monica, she's standing firm, basically implying that kissing is everything in a relationship. Joey acts all clueless. He's like, "What, really?" Like, yeah. Phoebe, she backs up Monica, with her claim. Rachel jumps in and she says, "You can tell everything by a first kiss." Now, I don't know if you agree with that. So I kind of agree with that statement. You really can tell a lot by somebody, not just by the first kiss, but just by kissing them in general. I don't know what kind of experiences you've had where a kiss has changed your life, but do you remember the first time you ever had a kiss, how you felt like the rush of blood within your lips, like it kind of felt numb? Or is that just me?
I don't know. I kind of agree with the guys. I think you're agreeing with the girls. I'm with the guys on this
I
one.
mean, it does. I kind of agree with the girls. I mean, the guys are just like, yeah, I'm kind of here for, the Pink Floyd concert.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Adam,
Tiebreaker. I'm gonna say tiebreaker. Let's go with Unk here. I'm gonna go with you could tell pretty much.
Yeah,
everything
you can tell a lot about a
discussed.
girl by the way she kisses. See, Moby's like, screw kissing. See, Moby, you don't like foreplay. You just want to go right.
No.
right
I
to
love
it.
foreplay. That's not the thing. The thing is, it's like so you think that's the most important at everything. Me, I'm
Not
like,
the most
nah.
important.
No, that's what he's saying. They're like, it's all you could tell about everything about that first kiss. Me,
Yeah.
I'm into, you could start there, but I want to leave a lasting impression somewhere else, if you know what I'm saying.
Dang.
And so that's where we're focused. And what was funny about the guys was it doesn't matter how good that is. At the end of the day, you still want the comedian to come back. And that was funny to me.
Right.
That was hilarious.
But the girls high-fived each other because the alternative is you're going to be by yourself.
Yeah,
essentially.
yeah. And
we all know what they're implying.
And that's why they rule all, and as they should. Did you understand what they were talking about?
Oh yeah, they were talking about
Every
sex.
time. No, not now. So when I started watching it, I was like 10, 9. So I had no clue until Joey said we're talking about sex he said,
Right.
we're still talking about sex. I was like,
Right.
oh, they're talking about sex. And so then every time I watched it after that, I would be thinking, I'm trying to figure out what are they talking about. I couldn't figure like Chandler saying, yeah, but then it's like after the concert, we're just trying to stay awake. I didn't understand what that
Right.
meant, and then after after I got older, I'm like, oh, he's trying to stay awake. That's hilarious.
Yes,
There's another
yeah.
joke in there. So like I never fully got all the jokes up until maybe like college.
Yep. Dude, so that metaphor, it's not just funny, but it's actually pretty clever.
No, it's hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah. One of my favorite lines in this scene, actually there's quite a few, but I think when Chandler's like, kissing is pretty much like an opening act, It's like the stand-up comedian you have to sit through before the Pink Floyd comes out. And I just love that they use Pink Floyd there because that can be interpreted into so many things.
Yeah.
And it was very brilliant. And then Joey, what does Joey say? Are we still talking about sex? Here's a fun fact, Moby. Oh, go ahead.
There was honestly, I could not think of a better band name than Pink Floyd. The writers, in my opinion, just absolutely spot on.
Nailed it. Hey, here's a fun fact about that scene. Did you know that the clothes that the Friends gang were wearing in the cold open, in that opening scene, is the same clothes that they wore at the end of the next episode?
The end of the next episode?
The end of the next episode is the same clothes that they wore in the beginning episode of this one.
I'll check it out.
So there's your fun fact. And then where do we go to next? To the Museum of Prehistoric History. Ross is at work doing things among his ancient bones, and at this exhibit of the Museum Prehistoric, it's just a regular day until suddenly it's not a regular day anymore. It's just Ross and his colleague Marsha chatting it up until Carol, his ex-wife, shows up and drops a bomb. Ross and Marsha are setting up the exhibit with the cave people mannequins, and they're joking about how one of the mannequins looks particularly angry. Marsha quirks about the prehistoric relationship drama, which is pretty hilarious. But then Carol walks in and boom, she tells Ross she's pregnant. The irony of discussing primitive human issues right before diving into a huge modern personal problem isn't lost on anybody. And Ross, David Schwimmer, does a great job of acting in a way where he acts like the mannequin and utilizing that same emotion that the mannequin is showing with the same emotion that he received finding out the baby. Exactly. And setting us up for future Ross reactions to big news. I thought this scene was very funny from David Schwimmer in terms of acting perspective.
What was he saying to his co-worker whenever she was leaving? He told her, I'll get back to you where?
Ice Age.
In the Ice Age?
Ice Age.
I thought that was hilarious. I really did. I thought that was really hilarious. All right, so are we going to talk about the elephant in the room yet, or
what's the elephant in the room?
And are you still talking about the thing?
I'm still talking about the
All right, go
scene.
ahead,
Maybe
go
the
ahead.
elephant hasn't been crossed
Oh,
yet.
my bad. There's a
I
big
think
elephant.
one of my favorite lines in this episode or in this scene is when Marcia, the Ross's coworker, she's like, he's out banging other women over the head with a club while he sits at home trying to get his Macedon smell out of the carpet. That had me rolling. That was really clever by the writers to write something like that and well timed. Fun fact, and I think this is where you're going. Who is this imposter who calls herself Carol?
Who is she?
Is that where you're going?
Yes, it's the elephant. It's kind of hard.
It is the elephant. So Carol's ex-wife, or Carol, Ross's ex-wife, is played by a lady named Anita Baroni in this episode. In later seasons, the rest of the Carol recast, throughout the rest of the season, Carol was recast by a lady named Jane Sibet, and she becomes that familiar face that we've all been accustomed to.
The Carol that we all know.
I call me crazy, but I thought this Carol is far more attractive than the Carol we're going to receive.
Yeah, I was going to.
And it looked like it fit Ross more, because when you look at the new Carol, you're like, that doesn't really go well with Ross.
Yeah. You want to know another fun fact?
What's up?
Jane Sibet, who was playing Carol, who was she originally supposed to play?
Rachel?
She was supposed to be Rachel.
No way.
But
That's great craze.
She got pregnant. And so she
couldn't make
she told her agent to go tell the producers, and then they told them, so they're like, yeah, you can't. So then Jennifer Aniston became Rachel, and so instead of Jane playing Rachel for Ross, she's playing Carol for Ross. She ended up getting that.
That's
job.
Bananas.
So
that could have changed the whole dynamic.
Yeah,
exactly.
They're like, okay, you're already pregnant. So they used her. I literally just found that out yesterday. Never knew that. Never
do. There's a lot of things that I found out about this episode, or about this. I had no idea.
Yeah, that shocked me. Oh, and Yasser, I really love part whenever Ross sees Carol and he says, "You look
great." I hate that.
Sorry. Thanks. You look good too.
Well, in here, anyone who stands erect.
erect in here." Looks good.
The timing was impeccable on that one.
Yeah.
All right, so we're jumping into Monica and Rachel's apartment. The scene unfolds in Monica and Rachel's cozy yet currently chaotic apartment. The vibe is lively, punctuated by bursts of humor and underlying tension. Monica, Chandler, Joey, Phoebe, Rachel, Ross, and later Ross, which drops in with big news. He shows up. Everyone is initially trying to unwind with an episode of Three's Company, which is one of my favorite all-time shows, not gonna lie. Rachel suddenly realizes that she's lost her ring, which she needs to return to her ex-fiance Barry, and we'll learn a little bit more about Barry later. Panic ensues as she frantically begins searching the apartment, turning up cushions and questioning everything about last known whereabouts. Rachel's crisis among Monica and what's going on with her and her anxiety, she has a lot of anxiety about judgment that her parents have about her. Chandler and Joey dig through some lasagna that Rachel fears that she might have accidentally embedded her ring in. The comedic research is brief despite the stress, but then Ross arrives, heightening the drama of Carol's news. I just want to call out in this scene, Chandler goes, "Oh, I think whenever they're looking for the lasagna," and Chandler is like, "Let's get in, boys." Well, let's dive in. But what did Phoebe do? Phoebe went into, she had her hands. She was going in there. She wanted to feel like she was one of the boys. And Chandler, one of things that he said in this episode, he was like, "Oh, I think this is the episode of Three's Company where some kind of misunderstanding happened," which they're right in the middle of a misunderstanding that's happening right now.
Yeah. What'd Phoebe say? "Oh, I've already seen this one."
Oh yeah, she's like, "I've seen this," and then she turns it off.
Okay,
right?
then I've seen this. Every episode.
But what I think this scene is really setting up is just how nervous Monica is when it comes to her parents.
Yeah.
And how like so hypercritical they are of her and how much they think Ross is just such a hero. So, and I think more of that is just gonna continue to unravel throughout this episode.
Monica fluffing the pillows cracked me up because Chandler.
And then her mom picks it up.
Yeah,
later,
yeah.
but
Her
that's
mom later. That's in a later
on.
scene, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's like that's exactly because she knows what she's gonna go for.
Right.
But Chandler's
Right.
like, yeah, 'cause
You-
everyone,
you know what
everyone,
your mom's looking
yeah.
for.
And Chandler makes a joke about it, but Monica was right. Like she was like, yeah, because every parent is worried about their kids' fluffiness of their pillow, but
Yeah.
Monica's mom really was. Yeah, so yeah, I really like that. Rachel, what'd she do in this scene?
She tried to cook something and she lost
she-
her ring.
yeah.
Every time she tries to cook something, something goes out.
For Adam's sake, that he was talking about, she can't do coffee. She can't do
Right,
coffee.
that was last week. Right. Yeah.
She
Last
can't-
week it's
she can't
coffee. This
do-
week it's
She can't do
lasagna.
noodles. She can't do lasagna.
No. We're learning a lot about these characters.
Yeah, what Monica says to Rachel destroys me. I literally say that to a lot of people, especially my younger brother. Do
What
you,
did she
know
say?
what she said after
What?
Rachel's like, "Oh, don't kill me," but it might be in the lasagna, and she goes, I gave you one job."
I gave you
I
one job.
say
Yeah.
that all the time.
She says that to her again,
Yeah, yeah,
later on.
I gave you one job. I say that all the time because Monica probably cooked everything.
Yeah.
Man. But yeah, that was great. I really
That was
enjoyed
awesome.
Who do we meet for the first time in this scene, ever, or first mention? I guess we didn't meet him.
That's a great question. And so the first time we hear about Ugly Naked Guy
Yes.
in this scene.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
That's the first time we're hearing about him.
Yes.
Yep.
That's exactly right. Did you realize it was this soon?
No, I didn't realize this soon.
Yeah.
That's another good question. I didn't realize that it was this soon. I really thought with 24 episodes, it would be, you know what, they did a really good job this episode. And what they do, like what they planted a lot of seeds this episode that you eventually see kind of flourish later. What you got, Adam?
Do you guys know what the ugly naked guy was doing when Chandler notices him for the first time?
In this episode?
Yep.
No.
Chandler starts it off. He says, ooh, ugly naked guy. And then he says something like, ugly naked guy has a new thigh master.
I was about to say Thigh Master, but I thought that was a later episode.
So
Yeah.
if we could just take 5 seconds, can we just picture that?
That's the most 90s thing I ever heard. Thigh
Yeah,
Master.
really.
But also a naked guy using a thigh master. That
Ugly naked
You
guy.
know,
Nate
Right, yeah,
isn't even
true.
bad enough. It's ugly.
true. But if they hang a little too low, maybe they get squeezed. I don't know, pinched. That just does not seem like the ideal situation. My dude needs to put on some tights.
Yeah. Oh my god. Well, the scene continues on. Ross shares. He comes in, his typical hi, and obviously Monica greets him. And, she's a good sister. And Ross shares that Carol is pregnant and planning to raise their baby with their partner Susan, which shocks everybody.
Yeah.
And this revelation shifts all focus to Ross and the unconventional nature of his impeding fatherhood. The ring, despite the shock of Ross's announcement, Phoebe finds the lost ring, bringing a momentary sense of relief that quickly gets overshadowed by the larger issues at hand. And we see towards the end of this episode, towards the end of the scene, Joey, you can hear a little noise going on, and it's Joey. He's like, "What? This is ruined, right? I
Yeah,
eat this lasagna."
That's where he
And I'm
loves
like,
his
"What's
food.
wrong with this guy?"
Yeah.
He doesn't play when it comes to food. Question for you is this really bothered me, and I did a lot of research. Do you know, because I'm a huge fan of Three's Company,
Yeah.
do you know what episode of Three's Company was airing on television?
You look that up, bro.
I looked.
It showed it 2 seconds.
Dude,
It showed
it's
Whipper
not that
walking
easy to
out.
find.
Huh?
It was not that easy to find.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was part of the first season, and the episode, the title of that episode is "A Man About the House," just for fun fact measures.
Trying to stunt.
Well, I'm coming in here trying to stunt. So we're staying at Monica and Rachel's apartment, and we are about to uncover or about to experience a really funny scene, but also a very telling scene with Monica's parents.
Hang on one second. If we can go back real quick.
Go for
Because
it.
Chandler he didn't have too much to do in this episode. So when my man is dropping liners, we gotta show some.
Yeah, what did he say?
Name. It was just funny whenever, just going back to when Ross was talking about what he's gonna do for the kid or what's his job. And Chandler's like, well, presumably, the biggest part of your job is done. Like, back in real life.
Yeah. I mean, your role is done. What else are you trying to do?
Like, you already did it all. I just that one really cracked me up.
So the scene in the apartment continues in Monica and Rachel's apartment. Now around the dinner table, where the family dynamic becomes more pronounced, with wine being poured and food being served. Mrs. Geller mentions a call Monica will receive from Martha Ludwig's daughter, who's interested in career in food, mistakenly stating that Monica owns a restaurant. Monica corrects her subtly, frustrated by her mother's embellishments. You can just tell right then and there, Judy is belittling Monica by saying, oh, restaurant, waitress, like whatever it is that you do. She's not impressed. Not impressed at all.
Yeah, the curry. Oh, well, what's this curry taste? Oh, curry?
Right. Why does it taste? What does this curry taste? Yeah, it's curry.
Ross is like,
which explains why Monica's always so on edge and like making sure the pillow is fluffed.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So feeling the pressure and eager to divert attention from herself, Monica asked Ross to assist her with the spaghetti, using the moment to hint at to bring up the situation with Carol to shift the parental focus onto him and not to herself. Question: did anybody else notice that the spaghetti looked really dry? Like they had just a little bit of sauce on it?
Yeah.
And I'm like, who eats straight noodles? Adam, I see you over there struggling, man. You saw that too, didn't you?
Man, it looked so bad. I don't even know what to say. Like, Monica, what are we doing here? Producers on the show, help a girl out. Make it look good. Order some takeout from restaurant down the street. Come on, guys. I mean, did you notice the toast? Should I call it toast? Sorry. Bread?
Garlic bread? Yeah.
Yeah, he dipped the bread in the sauce. And was
that was the first time the bread had color.
Heartburn.
Did you see before? It's just white. There was no toast to it. I mean, it was.
We got to give them a break. This is the second episode.
Right.
This isn't Friends that we were thinking of. This is just like a TV show. They ain't got nothing. They're just, they're trying to do their thing. But yeah, no, it was definitely noticeable.
The dinner conversation escalates besides the spaghetti. Back at the table, the conversation takes a sharp turn as Judy and Jack discuss Rachel's recent life choices, critiquing her decision to leave her fiancé at the altar, which parallels their expectations for their own children. This leads to a tense exchange about personal achievements and expectations. Mr. Geller, Jack, praises Ross's ambitions, unintentionally making Monica feeling inadequate comparing to her less glamorous career path. Yeah, I mean, Ross's response to his dad being complimentary, just kind of downplaying it. I think that's just because he knows there's big news that he needs to deliver, and he's not trying to like stretch his own ego right now. It's like, let me just be as quiet and humble as I can, and let's see how mom and dad react to this. Yeah,
they're very happy to announce all of Ross's accomplishments, and then where we hear for the first time Monica's nickname Harmonica, that their little harmonica would never want to do anything like that. She's just so happy with her simple life where she's not trying to accomplish too much.
Doing whatever it is.
That was like the worst backhanded compliment, especially from your dad, you could ever get. Like, imagine getting roasted by your mom all day.
Brutal.
And then your dad finally gives you a compliment and it's that backhanded. I was just like, God,
he's so oblivious. Jack Geller is so oblivious. He has no idea what's going on.
Yeah. He thinks he's helping her out. That's the funny part.
Poor guy.
And he never says anything about Judy going in on Monica.
He loves Judy. He's probably afraid of Judy. Who wouldn't be? I'd be afraid of Judy. I'm afraid of Judy right now. She's
probably like an older Monica.
Yeah. The conversation illuminates in Ross revealing the nature of his and Carol's relationship and the pregnancy, stunning everyone, especially the parents. Ross explains Carol's new life with Susan and their plan to raise their baby together, making a significant moment of personal disclosure that shifts all focus towards him, providing Monica with a temporary but sparking complex family dialogue about acceptance and expectations. I think the best line here is after Ross delivered the announcement to the parents forcefully by Monica, Judy Geller looks at Monica and says to her, "And you knew about this?"
Here's the deal. Carol's a lesbian. She's living with a woman named Susan. She's pregnant with my child. And she and Susan are going to raise the baby.
And you knew about this?
It's like, damn, could a sister get a gutter or some slack or something?
Yeah.
I thought this scene was very interesting, Sam. It shows a lot about Monica and her struggles and helps us understand a little bit more about why she is the way she is. But then you also notice like she has a really good relationship with her brother Ross, because despite being in trouble and then like, you know, with her mom and having that anxiety and then also throwing her brother under the bus, like he was still there trying to protect her. Because notice when Judy made that comment about curry, what did Ross do to make Monica feel better? He grabbed one and he ate it.
Yeah.
And so it, like the little things like that, like I didn't notice the first time around watching it, but watching it second time around, it was a good, nice little.
He
addition.
grabbed it and said,
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was definitely
What
trying
a
to
cool
help her
brother.
out as much, but which you see later on with Ross though too. Also, whenever it comes back on him, then he's just like he just doesn't want it on her.
He doesn't want that smoke.
That's one big thing about him. So we got a few things. Are you still going through it?
Yeah, no, go for it.
Okay, I just got a few things. How much did they spend on Rachel's wedding?
Well, he's not going to mention it, but $40,000 is a lot of money.
What that Rachel did to her life, we ran into her parents at the club. They were not playing very well.
I'm not going to tell you what they spent on that wedding, but $40,000 is a lot of money.
Like that destroys me every time because it's just like
He doesn't want to bring up
cannot help
numbers.
it. He can't help it. I'm not gonna talk about it, but $40,000. He like looks at Ross
Money
like,
for a wedding.
like you believe that. So this episode to me is like I think you said it earlier, but we discover a lot of things, and just so there I wrote down like everything, but I'm just gonna go so far just on the scenes that we've done. The last scene we learned that Joey loves food. We kind of they showed a little bit the first episode, but this one is like pretty much confirmed. And then and this last episode we just learned that Monica, or this last scene, Monica was chubby, which kind of go into your point about why she's so insecure and why she feels like that. So I just thought that was pretty neat. There's a couple later on in these scenes, there's more to it, but you can tell they're trying to lay, like you said, they're laying down the groundwork. We're really learning about these characters, and it's starting to take shape. So I really enjoyed that.
And to add to the chubby girl comment, like her mom even says, "Hey Monica, like can you finish these meat pies?" Like implying like, you know, like your garbage disposal, you know, like she was fat.
Judy. Whew.
Dude, Judy's a beast.
Yeah, Judy don't play games. Judy don't play.
You got anything else with this?
She loves Ross.
I got a family pressure cooker segment here for us real quick. Can you name a time really quickly that you had to reveal something uncomfortable to your parents, the way that Ross kind of had to let Jack and Judy? Huh? He's like, I'm not doing this. He's like, no, okay. We can skip that. We're not doing that. Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, believe me, that wouldn't be good for any of us.
Yeah.
So this episode takes us back into Central Park, and the friends gather around at their usual hangout spot, which has become a pretty casual and common area for them. All the main characters are there: Joey, Ross, Monica, Phoebe, Rachel, Chandler, and each are contributing to a conversation. The scene opens with the group casually chatting. Joey comments on his difficulties. Monica and Ross face with their parents, and prompting Ross to humorously compare his parents to professionals who get the job done. Monica, feeling a bit anxious about Ross's apparent favor in their parents' eyes, half jokingly wishes she could swap parents with him. This light remarks set to the tone that some sibling dynamic and discussions that we had earlier. The Ross and Monica's dynamic is incredible. But at this point, Ross goes into the bathroom and the gang leaves, leaving just Rachel. And she's like, yeah, dim the lights. Ross comes back out. He's like, how long was I in there for? Can I ask who sweeps the floor with the lights off? Like, I watched this episode twice and both times I couldn't figure it out. But this was a really good setup, you know, as Ross was there having a conversation with Rachel, you know, and them having a heart to heart. It really felt like the conversation that they were having was very personal, and Rachel was expressing to her like her anxieties about returning the ring to Barry and facing him after a breakup. I think what we're about to see in these next couple of scenes kind of validates what I said in the last episode, where I said this show is not really a show about friends, but it is a love story about Ross and Rachel. And in these next couple of scenes, the way they show us Ross struggling with his hardships and changes going on in his life, simultaneously they're showing us Rachel going to Barry's dentist's office, confronting her struggles and what she has to deal with at the same time. Is they're really trying to show you the relationship there, and they've been planting that seed for Ross and Rachel since the very beginning.
He's really trying to sell his story,
dude, for real.
He's trying real hard. Yes, I agree with that. But Monica's also a main character. That's my only point. I'm just
well, they're all main characters.
Those three.
But that's the main story. The main story is Ross and Rachel.
Yes.
So what did we learn about this scene here specifically with Phoebe?
Well, before we get with Phoebe, the scene before they left, that's another part of learning about everybody. She's a twin.
She's a twin.
And
then what do we know about her sister?
She's the power-driven type.
Yeah, she's a high-powered, career-driven type.
Yeah, a waitress. We also learned what? What did we learn about Chandler?
We learned that he's an only child.
He's an only child. You caught that right whenever they're walking out. Monica's like, so you're an only child, huh? Yeah. See how they're trying to throw everything so you can learn something about somebody. It's like one little throwaway line, but just like trying to give it.
And I remember that because I believe he is an only child in real life.
Oh, in real life he is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You got to listen to
Matthew
the memoir.
Perry? Okay. Did you write anything down about what Rachel was talking about with Ross?
What do you mean? What she was?
When or whatever. I just really thought that was really. I thought it was really.
He was basically telling her to, when you walk in there, just look like.
No. Before that, they're talking about like just heartbreak in general. She's like, Ross, do you remember high school? And he's like, yeah.
Like her, whatever. He's in love with her.
She's like, yeah. Didn't you just think you would find somebody, fall in love, and you just get married, and that would be it? And I was just like, that is so true. That's like kind of what you think. And then no matter what, it always gets complicated. But I just thought that was really cool. And then, of course, she lays her hand or she lays her head on his hand. He's just like, instead of moving, he's like, I'm going to bring this chair.
He brought the chair closer.
So happy. I just thought that was hilarious.
So we're at Carol's OBGYN office, and there's a lot of things that happen in this specific scene that really bothered me, and now we'll get into that a little bit more. But Ross arrives a little bit late, apologizing. There was a big dinosaur thing that he was dealing with. And Carol reintroduces Ross to Susan, who walks in, setting a formal yet slightly tense tone as Ross and Susan exchange a brief, somewhat awkward greeting. As they attempt to wait for Dr. Oberman, Ross inquires about the doctor's awareness of their special situation, indicating his concern about how external parties perceive their unconventionally family setup. Susan corrects Ross subtly when he assumes the doctor's male, highlighted his occasional disconnect from Carol and Susan's world. They're living a completely different world.
Well, first of all, let me get to the funny part. As soon as he walked in, or whenever Susan came and he shook her hand, he said, good shake, good shake.
Yeah, she has a good grip.
He's like, oh, strong hand.
That's what I would say to my dog. Good shake, good shake.
Yeah, good shake, good shake. But then he was so uncomfortable that I related with this. Everything he did was like, he was just messing everything up. So she's trying to give the drink to Carol. And he's like, no, I'm good. He's like, oh, wait, no, that's for you. Okay.
Yeah.
And then he's touching the little baby display and it like pops up in the air and he drops it everywhere. And it's just like, he's so uncomfortable.
And then he made a duck with that thing, and she goes, that opens up my cervix. He just kind of like he fumbled it and dropped it around.
He's just so then finally, like after all, he's like, all right, so we need to talk about something. He's just like was trying to avoid it. I thought that was great. And whenever they juxtapose it with the Rachel scene, which I'm sure you're about to, because they're doing it back and forth. If you want to go,
they're doing back and forth. They're trying to connect that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're making that connection, and then in walks in Rachel, into Barry's office, and the way he greets her, it's very like, oh yeah, hey, come in. And I thought this scene with Barry and Rachel was the ultimate beatdown of Barry giving Rachel the biggest fu. It's like, oh yeah, I'm tanned and I have hair plugs and I look happier. And it's like, yeah, I thought we were happy together, but I realized we weren't happy together because now I'm happy with Mindy. And the way she like even looked at that kid sitting in the chair and she said, I dumped him because she felt insecure that she just had her hair kind of whatever. And he was looking really good. And everything he was saying to her, he was destroying her with his words. So this scene was like a complete and utter closure for Rachel, for her to shut down that chapter in her life.
She took Ross's advice to dress down, and Ross was wrong.
It was wrong. It didn't work out for her
Ross
because
was thinking of himself of what he would be like. Barry.
Well,
was like,
of course he wants her dressed because he wants her single. He doesn't want Barry to see her be like, "Oh my God, I made a mistake," or try to win her back.
Yeah, I don't think that's why he did that, but yeah.
Yeah. Did you know? Fun fact. That the guy who plays Barry, his name is Mitchell Whitfield.
Never knew.
Did you know that he originally auditioned to play the role of Ross Geller, but despite not getting that part, he ended up playing Barry, which played a pretty significant role for Rachel.
Dang, so we could have had Barry and the character that plays Barry and the character that plays Carol as the Ross and Rachel.
Swit. It would have never worked out.
Casting is always very important. Once again. Go back to the doctor's office.
Yeah, so we're going back to the doctor's office, the OBGYN office, and this is where they start deciding on a name, and this is where they decide on a name, Minnie, and he goes, as in mouse? As in mouse. And she's like, no, as in my grandmother.
Well, you hear Minnie, or you say Minnie, you hear mouse.
You hear mouse. And so this scene is just really, it's continually to dive into the struggles that Ross Geller faces with this new journey that he's about to embark, with this new baby that's coming. And, being in a situation where I have a kid and, sometimes those relationships, when there's a breakup and it's from a broken family, those can get really tense and a lot of misunderstandings. And so I completely understand and felt so bad for Ross in this situation. And to the point where he grew so frustrated that he had to walk out, having to walk out of that room.
Yeah.
And almost missing big moment of his life. It was messed up.
Can we get into about this whole situation?
Yeah, let's do it.
Why are they coming at Ross like that?
I don't know.
I'm so confused. Susan
it's
and
hurtful.
Carol.
It's crazy. Yeah.
It's his kid, right?
Yeah.
And she's just now pregnant. So what does that mean? That they probably had sex not too long ago, and she's already with this chick. So what does that tell you? So she probably
making
cheated on
decisions
him.
like this.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. So we're supposed to deduct that she cheated on him. So Susan comes in hot, not looking hot, but coming in on fire against Ross. Oh, well, we were ready to decide on a name. It's and he's like, excuse, I don't remember giving you giving.
I don't remember you making Sturm.
Who are you to give for you to have a name and I'm not? That's wild. They did it without even asking. I was wow. He took it way better than I would have. Oh, man.
He did.
They didn't want to give him a last name. They didn't want him to name anything, and they were even being rude about it. I'm like, and if you hooked up with somebody's wife and she's pregnant with her husband's kid, I'm probably not walking in there talking like that. That's crazy. Susan, that was wild. I was rewatching it. I was stunned. And I'm
right?
like, and y'all
I
are
was
hating on
shocked.
Ross? People hate on, like,
Right.
that's wild to me. He took it way better than I would. I'll tell you that right now.
I will say, and I told you in the last episode that I did see parts of Ross's personality that was asshole-ish,
Yeah.
but just seeing everything that he dealt with this episode, you feel so bad for him.
Yeah.
And it's like, I cannot believe they did him so dirty
Yeah.
like
And
that.
then he's like,
But-
"Can I get my last name in there somewhere?" And she's like, "Oh no, he's gonna win because he gets his way." And he's like, "Trust me. If you think
Yep.
this is my way, like, that's crazy. I wouldn't even let
Right.
her in there.
No, I wouldn't either.
I wouldn't have
Like,
let
who
her
are
in
you?
there. He's better than me. I'd been like, no, me and her will be in here. Y'all can go, or you can go. We'll let you know afterwards. Like, forget that. That may be mean, but boy, tripping.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't believe, and there was something that I noticed this time around too. Because first time I watched it, I was like, "Oh, whatever, this is just funny." But now, as an adult watching, I'm like, "This isn't normal."
Yeah, yeah. I was
You-
just
you
laughing at all the little jokes and all that watching, but now I'm watching. I'm like, nah, and y'all trying to. That's wild.
But I think that's where the poetic justice comes into play, Assam, is because they're showing you direct scene after scene. Like Ross is going through those struggles, but then look, Rachel's going through those struggles, and think about the conversation they just had in Central Park. They're tying this thing together, and they're almost showing you like these two really belong together. And we'll see that unravel as things progress. So Ross attempts to walk away and walk out of the room. He's upset by everything that's going on, and then he hears a heartbeat. He looks at the screen, and the sonogram comes up, and he sees his son. We don't know his name yet, or daughter. We don't know if it's a boy or girl. We don't know their name. But fun fact, did you know that sonogram on the screen was actually a real sonogram? It was David Schwimmer's niece. And that scene was extra emotional for him.
Oh,
It was actually an emotional scene for him because it was his relative.
dang.
So,
No, I
really
really
cool
didn't
to
know
see.
that. So while he was
And that
telling
takes us in-
Monica she was going to be an aunt, it was really him that was going to be an uncle.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I was going to get to in the final scene
my
is,
bad.
them watching the sonogram on the screen, and Monica getting emotional, seeing that she's basically going to be an aunt soon. And then we see Rachel on the phone. She goes off on Mindy, slams the phone, and says like, "I hope the baby has his hairline and her old nose." Or
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
I love that was my favorite part. I called it the Rachel Petty shot. She's like, "Yeah, I know it was a low blow, but I feel so much better."
Oh, it's okay, really. It's okay. I hope you two are very happy. I really do. Oh, and Min, if everything works out and you guys end up getting married and having kids and everything, I just hope they have his old hairline and your old nose. Okay, I know it's a cheap shot, but I feel so much better now.
And
Yeah.
and that's what I mean about Jennifer Aniston being such a good Rachel. Anybody else, they'd be like, "Man, that's what a bitch move," or like, "She should have just let it go," or something like that. I'm like, "Nah, I love that." I was like, and the way she did, she's like, "I know, but I feel so much better." It's like, I know I shouldn't have
Yeah,
done
it
it, but
feels so good.
y'all can't be mad at me. Yeah, that was perfect. I
In
don't
the
blame her, though,
original
too.
script. Oh, I don't blame her either.
Yeah,
I mean, that
I'd be mad, too.
kudos to her.
Yeah.
We're seeing Rachel grow, right? In
Yeah.
that moment, you saw her grow. You saw her from being daddy's girl, credit cards, to now she's working, and now she lives on her own.
Yeah.
And now she's taking control of her relationship. So we're seeing a lot of character development for Rachel in this scene. The ending of this actually in the script had a slightly different ending, with Minnie responding and with a sarcastic remark. However, the final version with Rachel slamming down the phone was chosen for its comedic impact, and I also think because of the personal growth that it gave Rachel.
It was a good
solid episode.
Good ending.
What do you have a rating for this episode? I know last week we gave our ratings and it was a pilot rating. Do you give this rating because you called this the first normal or regular episode of Friends? It felt like a Friends episode. So
It
what
felt
would
like a
be your
Friends
rating for this episode?
I thought it was hilarious. I was laughing. There were so many jokes. I can't even keep up with some of them. There wasn't enough Joey. It was like barely any Joey. A little bit of Chandler, but I mean, you're not going to get it every episode. I understand. So
we're just getting a lot of one-liners from him right now.
Yeah. But I love this episode. This is like, to me, this is where Friends really starts, which I still loved the first episode, but you got to set everything up. But this is where Friends starts for me. It was really great. 9.1.
Wow.
9.
That's a big one coming from you.
9.1. Great episode.
That's a fantastic rating. I agree with a lot of things you said, but for me, I thought this was very powerful storytelling, a lot of planting the seeds for future episodes, and continuing to develop a lot of these story arcs that we're seeing. I'm not at a 9.1, but I'm more of an 8.2. Still very solid.
Ooh, that's a big drop off. You think it's only what'd you give last episode?
I thought it was good. Last episode I gave like a 9, I think. I don't remember. We need to keep track of that.
You did not give it 9. You gave it 8.5.
I didn't give it 9
or something. You gave it higher than this.
Okay, yeah.
The last one was better than this one?
Well, yeah, because that was a pilot, and I felt like the pilot, they set us up really well. It was a really good episode. But this one was really good too. I agree. It does feel like a Friends episode, but I'm going to give it slightly lower than the pilot.
8.2 is criminal.
Well, you gave it a 7 point something for the pilot, and that was a rock star pilot.
7.7. It was really good.
There you go.
Yeah, 77%. That was a really good.
Okay.
Most pilots, don't even get 60 from me. What? What'd you say?
Nothing. I was just going to tell you you're wrong. That's all.
Oh, that's fine. Coming from you, that just means I'm right. All right. Who is your favorite friend of this episode?
Man, that's a great question. My favorite friend this episode is definitely Ross, for a lot of the reasons we already mentioned. Just feeling bad for the situation he put himself through. He still managed to find a lot of comedic relief to get through a lot of things he was dealing with. If I'm upset, the comedy is the last thing I'm thinking about. I'm just going to get madder throughout the day. So Ross was definitely my favorite episode from the guys. From the girls, probably Rachel.
Ooh, yeah. Guys, easy. Yeah, Ross. The other two guys, unfortunately, they didn't give him anything. They didn't really give him anything to do. Ross, pretty much. I mean, we said it all. I felt bad for him, especially that last scene. I was just like, wow. But he kept his cool. He did his thing. So I appreciate that. The girls, I really liked Rachel, especially her last line, but I'm going with my girl Monica again. I thought it was hilarious. The way she was fluffing the pillows and all the jokes that like kept coming, like Chandler talking about, parents, how they're always worried about the fluffiness of a pillow. Yeah. And Phoebe saying that she already did it. Also my favorite line, I forgot to say it earlier. When they're at Central Park before they close it down, before Ross and Rachel are still in there, and she's laying down on the couch. Do you remember what she says to Ross? I say this to my 2 younger brother and sister all the time. She's like, I know you can't choose your parents, but if I could choose my parents, I would choose yours, to Ross, because she treats them differently. Yeah. And I always say it to my 2 younger siblings. So I'm like, man, y'all get away with that. I was like, I wish I had your parents.
Right.
Because
it was a much different era.
Yeah, but that line gets me every time. I love that line. So I say that all the time. And that is the episode for this week. So make sure you come and join us next week, where we will be going over season 1, episode 3. Yasser, it's called The One with the Thumb.
Ooh.
Which I actually kind of remember this episode, so I'm looking forward to it.
I don't, and I'm looking forward to watching it for the first time again.
Y'all make sure y'all come and join us next week. Yasser, take us out.
Until next time, cue the outro.